guys, this is Jessica. I have the day off today, so I'm down in the sewing room for the first time in quite a while doing a project I've been putting off for months. I prepared for this months ago. I'm making bowl holders. I'm really excited. These are awesome for cozying up on the couch with a warm bowl of soup because they are insulated and so your hands don't get too hot, and they have these little handles, you can carry them. If you look at the size that I'm making, this is a Corelle bowl. I also have large Fiestaware bowls that fit in them. They fit big oversized coffee mugs. These are the best things ever. These particular ones are a gift from my sister-in-law. She was the one who showed me this pattern probably back in September or October. I made a test one and I was like, oh yeah, that takes 10 minutes to whip up. I'll make you a set. And then I got really busy and didn't make her a set yet. But today, she's getting a set. So if you want to come downstairs with me, join me in the sewing room, I'll show you how I make these.
So I'm down in the sewing room. I'm making a template before I start. I have 1 inch on one side and 2 inches on the other, and I'm just cutting out a triangle. And make sure to use your paper scissors, not your sewing scissors. Now I've already prepared quilted sandwiches. This is a 10-inch square of fabric on a 10-inch square of batting. Here I'm going to lay my template and I'm going to mark off sides. Because this is inside the bowl and I know is not going to show in any way, I'm just using a regular marker, not a fabric one. Now the reason I made the template is I'm making 4 bowls and each bowl has 2 squares on it, and each of the squares has 4 markings that I'm needing to do. I folded it in half, marked both sides, and then folded it in half the other direction, marked both sides. So obviously there's a lot of marking to do, and for me, using this template and just tracing takes a lot less time than lining everything up and trying to use the measurements on the board. So I'm going to do this. I think I just show you 2 of them, but I do all 8 of them right now and get everything ready to go. So once all 8 of them are marked, we move over to the sewing machine and get ready to sew. I just have a regular cotton thread. It really doesn't matter what thread you do because this is interior, this isn't going to show, no one's going to see this. I'm chain piecing. If you haven't chain pieced, it's really great because you don't need to start and stop your threads. You don't waste a lot of thread that way. You don't waste time setting stuff up. One thing you'll notice is that I'm not backstitching here. I don't really know that it's necessary to do because, again, these are interior stitches. But if you're a perfectionist, you might want to backstitch. So now I'm going to go and do the other side of the same fold though. I didn't refold them yet. And again, I'm showing you chain piecing all of them just because if you haven't chain pieced before, I want you to see this is so much quicker than having to cut the thread and restart it every single time. Obviously this is speeded up about 300%, I think is what I sped it up. But still, you get the idea. It's pretty quick. So once that's done, I'm going to head back to my cutting board and I'm going to snip off the corner of each of these. And you might choose to press these. I didn't, and I think it looks fine in the final product, but I am most definitely not a perfectionist. So then you want to refold. And now I'm just showing you the one because you get the idea, right? You do this the same on every single one of these pieces. And again, you're going to sew. I, again, chain pieced all of these, but since I'm just showing you one to show that I did this sewing again, you're not going to see that on camera. Once you have them all done, you're going to want to unfold them to make the bowl shape, and you're going to flip one of the colors inside out because you want to put them together right side together. I don't pin very often when I'm sewing, but I did pin these. I kind of wanted the quilting to line up as best as possible, and you want your seams to line up on those divots that you just sewed. I don't know if divot's the right word. It seems like a reasonable word to say. So again, I would do all of the pinning and then go back to my sewing machine, but I'm just showing you one bowl here, so you're only seeing me pin one bowl. All right, back to the sewing machine, and I started about 1 inch from a corner. There you see I did backstitch because this is your securing stitch. These are actually really easy to sew and kind of awkward to do when I was doing it for the camera because I was trying to make sure my hand didn't block the camera. When I did the rest of the bowls, I actually found that it was easier to take the pins out. Here I'm kind of doing a combination of sewing over them and taking them out, but I just held with my finger wherever the next pin was and kind of stretched, and that allowed me to have like good tension and get everything to line up well. So about 1 inch after that last seam, I stopped there, and that gives me turning room. So now that I'm back to my cutting table, I've taken the pins out, I clipped the edges a little bit, and I'm turning through that hole. That I did make sure to backstitch on both sides because this is a small hole and it's a lot of bulk to fit through it. But I like a smaller hole, that way you can't tell it when you come back together. So just, kind of ease, work to do it. You don't want to tear the stitching on the side, so, do it kind of lightly, but slow and steady, you get it turned around. I have a poker tool. I'm sure it has some sort of name in the sewing world, but I'm going to call it my pokey thing. So I am poking out the corners so that they look really nice, and corners tend to be very flat if you don't poke them, so you want to get a nice point to them. And here you can see that has that bowl shape, and I folded the seam allowance, is what you saw me do right at the end, and that 1/4 inch seam allowance folded over, and now I'm top stitching to close the hole. And I'm top stitching all the way around, which gives you a nice finished look, I think. You could also close the hole by hand, maybe with some sort of stitch that you don't see. But I liked this. Again, I backstitch because these are stitches that are going to be seen and can come out. So that's all the sewing. And now my bowl is done. Took it back to the sewing table to show it off. Oh, look at that.
Hey guys, thank you so much if you made it this far. I just wanted to show you off. I have a whole stack of them here. These are really exciting. Not only are they just really perfect for holding your bowls, they're also reversible. So you can have either side being your outside. They're a great way to use up scraps of fabric that are just so pretty and you really want to show them off. And I just wanted to add one more caution. The person I made these for does not use a microwave. So if you looked at my batting, you might see that it was like a cotton with a scrim, which is that polyester layer. If you are using these in the microwave, you need to make sure you have 100% cotton. If they don't have cotton in it, they can melt, they could possibly catch fire. Same thing like if you're making potato bags. So if you're going to be microwaving your bowl in this, so when you pull it out, it has handles to hold your bowl. This is just brilliant. Just please be safe. Make sure you use 100% cotton and still watch your bowl. Don't walk away when it's in the microwave. Thank you so much for joining me in my sewing room today. I had so much fun. I promised her I'd make these like 4 months ago, so I'm glad that I finally had the chance to do it. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you when I have my next project.